Level 1. You are 31 years old. You just received your first $1,000 of passive income. It's a Tuesday morning. You are sitting at your kitchen table with your laptop open. You are looking at a dashboard that shows the income from a small portfolio of dividend stocks you have been building for the past 4 years. The dashboard shows that, last month, your investments paid you $1,040 in dividends. You did nothing to earn the $1,000. You did not work for it. You did not show up anywhere. The $1,000 arrived because money you invested years ago is now paying you to own it. You stare at the number for a while. The $1,000 is not, in any meaningful sense, life-changing. Your monthly expenses are around $4,000. The $1,000 covers 1/4 of your life. You still have a job. You still wake up at 6:30 every weekday and commute to an office. You do work that you find moderately interesting and moderately tolerable. The $1,000 does not free you from any of this. But the $1,000 represents something that no amount of salary ever represented. The $1,000 is the first money you have ever earned while doing nothing. The $1,000 is proof that the thing you read about, the thing that seemed like a fantasy when you started investing 4 years ago, is actually real. Money can, in fact, make money. You have now seen it happen with your own money. You built the portfolio slowly. You started by investing $200 a month. You increased the amount as your income grew. You reinvested every dividend for the first 3 years. The portfolio is now worth around $320,000. The $320,000 produces, at a dividend yield of around 4%, the $1,000 a month that you are now looking at. This is the first thing nobody tells you about passive income. The first thing is that the first dollar of passive income is the hardest dollar to produce. The first dollar requires years of saving, investing, and reinvesting before the income becomes meaningful. The first dollar requires the discipline to not spend money that you could easily spend. The first dollar requires faith, during the years when the income is tiny, that the income will eventually grow into something significant. Most people never produce the first dollar. They spend everything they earn. They never accumulate the capital that produces passive income. You produce the first dollar. The first dollar is, statistically, the achievement that separates you from most people. You will, over the next 30 years, build on this first dollar in ways you cannot yet imagine. The verb at level 1 is begin. You have begun. The beginning is the hardest part. Level 2. You are 37. Your passive income is $5,000 a month. The $5,000 covers your entire monthly expenses with a little left over. This is, you have realized recently, a psychologically significant threshold. You are now, technically, financially independent in the narrowest sense. If you lost your job tomorrow, your passive income would cover your basic living expenses. You would not starve. You would not lose your home. The $5,000 a month is a floor beneath your life that did not exist before. The $5,000 comes from a more diversified set of sources than the $1,000 did. You still have the dividend portfolio, which has grown to around $600,000 and produces around $2,000 a month. You have added a rental property, which you bought 3 years ago, and which produces around $1,500 a month after expenses. You have added a small position in a real estate investment trust that produces another $500 a month. And you have started a small side income stream from a digital product you created, which produces a variable amount that averages around $1,000 a month. The diversification is deliberate. You learned, somewhere in the last few years, that relying on a single source of passive income is risky. The dividend portfolio could cut its dividends in a recession. The rental property could sit empty for months. The digital product could stop selling. By spreading your passive income across 4 sources, you have reduced the risk that any single failure would significantly hurt you. You have also, around this time, started to think differently about your job. The job, which used to feel necessary, now feels optional. The $5,000 a month means that you work because you choose to, not because you have to. The shift in framing changes how you experience your work. You are more willing to take risks. You are more willing to say no to things you do not want to do. You are, in small ways, freer than you were before. This is the second thing nobody tells you about passive income. The second thing is that the most valuable threshold is the one where your passive income covers your basic expenses. This threshold is not about wealth. This threshold is about freedom. The moment your passive income covers your survival, you stop being forced to work and start being able to choose. The choice is the entire point. The choice is what most people who chase passive income are actually chasing, even if they describe it in terms of money. The verb at level 2 is cover. Your passive income now covers your survival. The covering is the foundation of your freedom. Level 3. You are 43. Your passive income is $15,000 a month. The $15,000 is, by the standards of your earlier life, an enormous amount of passive income. The $15,000 is around 3 times your basic monthly expenses. You are now, in any reasonable sense, financially free. You do not work because you need money. You work, when you work, because the work interests you. You quit your job 2 years ago. The quitting was, you remember, less dramatic than you expected. You had imagined, during the years of building toward financial freedom, that quitting would be a moment of triumph. The actual experience was quieter. You gave notice. You worked through your final 2 weeks. You cleaned out your desk. You drove home. The next Monday, you did not commute. That was the entire transition. The $15,000 a month comes from a portfolio that has now grown significantly. The dividend stocks are worth around $1.1 million. You own 3 rental properties. You have invested in 2 small businesses as a silent partner. You have a portfolio of digital products that produce income with minimal ongoing work. The combination produces, in aggregate, around $15,000 a month, which fluctuates by a few $1,000s depending on the month. You have, since quitting, restructured your entire life around the freedom that the passive income provides. You wake up without an alarm. You spend your mornings on projects that interest you. You have started, in the time freed by not having a job, to build new income streams that you find genuinely engaging. The new income streams may, over time, grow into something significant. The growing is no longer urgent. The lack of urgency changes the quality of the work. This is the third thing nobody tells you about passive income. The third thing is that, once you cross into genuine financial freedom, the passive income stops being the goal and starts being the foundation. Below financial freedom, the passive income is the thing you are working toward. Above financial freedom, the passive income is the thing that allows you to work toward other things. The shift is profound. The passive income, which consumed your attention for 15 years, becomes background infrastructure that supports a life oriented toward other purposes. The other purposes vary from person to person. Some people, freed by passive income, pursue creative projects. Some pursue new businesses. Some pursue family and relationships. Some pursue, frankly, leisure. The freedom is what the passive income produces. What you do with the freedom is up to you. The verb at level 3 is free. You are free now. The being free is the achievement of 15 years. Level 4. You are 49. Your passive income is $50,000 a month. The $50,000 a month is, you have realized, a different category of passive income than anything below it. The $50,000 a month is $600,000 a year, arriving without work. The $600,000 a year is more than most successful professionals earn through active work across an entire career stage. You are now producing, passively, an income that exceeds what most people produce actively. The $50,000 comes from a portfolio that has grown into something substantial. The investment portfolio is worth around $6 million. You own a small portfolio of commercial real estate, including a strip mall and a small office building, that produces significant rental income. You have equity stakes in 4 small businesses that distribute profits to you quarterly. You have, over the years, accumulated a diversified machine that produces income across many sources. The machine, you have realized, now requires management. The $50,000 a month does not arrive entirely passively in the way the $1,000 did. The commercial real estate requires oversight. The business stakes require attention. The investment portfolio requires periodic rebalancing. You have, accordingly, hired help. You have a part-time bookkeeper. You have a property manager for the commercial real estate. You have, in effect, started to build a small operation around your passive income. This is the fourth thing nobody tells you about passive income. The fourth thing is that, at high levels, passive income is rarely entirely passive. The income requires management. The management requires either your time or the time of people you hire. The truly passive income, the dividend that arrives with zero effort, becomes a smaller and smaller percentage of your total passive income as the total grows. The larger income streams, the real estate and the business stakes, require active oversight even though they are categorized as passive. The categorization matters less than the reality. The reality is that you have built a machine that produces $50,000 a month, and the machine requires perhaps 10 hours a week of your attention to maintain. 10 hours a week for $50,000 a month is an extraordinary ratio. The ratio is the actual achievement. The ratio is what separates passive income at this level from a job. The verb at level 4 is manage. You now manage a machine that produces significant income. The managing is the price of the scale. Level 5. You are 55. Your passive income is $150,000 a month. The $150,000 a month is, in annual terms, $1.8 million a year. The $1.8 million a year arrives from a portfolio that has grown, through compounding and reinvestment and a few significant successes, into a serious collection of assets. The investment portfolio is worth around $18 million. The real estate holdings are worth around $12 million. The business equity stakes are worth, conservatively, another $10 million. You are now wealthy by any standard. The $150,000 a month, if you spend all of it, would fund an extravagant lifestyle. You do not spend all of it. You spend, by habit accumulated over decades, a fraction of it. The remainder is reinvested, which causes the income to grow further, which compounds the wealth at an accelerating rate. The acceleration is the defining feature of this level. At lower levels, your passive income grew slowly because the amounts being reinvested were small. At this level, the amounts being reinvested are enormous. You are reinvesting, every month, more than you used to earn in a year. The reinvested money produces more income, which is itself reinvested. The compounding, which was theoretical when you started, is now a force you can feel. You have, around this time, started to think about the question that everyone with significant passive income eventually faces. The question is what the income is for. The income covers your needs many times over. The income funds your lifestyle without effort. The income continues to grow regardless of what you do. The income has, in a sense, solved the financial problem that consumed the first half of your adult life. The solving raises a new question, which is what you want the rest of your life to be about, now that money is no longer the constraint. This is the fifth thing nobody tells you about passive income. The fifth thing is that, at high levels, passive income solves the financial problem so completely that it creates a new problem, which is the problem of purpose. The financial problem, which felt all-consuming when you were building toward freedom, turns out to have been a substitute for the harder question of what you actually want your life to mean. The passive income answers the financial question. The passive income cannot answer the question of purpose. The question of purpose is yours to answer. The verb at level 5 is compound. Your income compounds beyond your needs. The compounding forces the question of purpose. Level 6. You are 62. Your passive income is $400,000 a month. The $400,000 a month is, in annual terms, around $5 million a year. The $5 million a year arrives from a portfolio that is now, by any measure, substantial. The total assets producing your income are worth somewhere around $80 million. The $80 million is spread across public investments, private equity positions, commercial real estate, and ownership stakes in operating businesses. You have, by this level, fully institutionalized the management of your passive income. You have a small family office. The family office has 4 employees. The family office handles the investment decisions, the real estate management, the business oversight, and the administrative work that an $80 million portfolio requires. You meet with the head of the family office monthly. You set the strategic direction. The office handles the execution. The $400,000 a month has, you have realized, stopped being income in any sense that you experience emotionally. The $400,000 a month is a number on a report. The number is larger than your spending by such a wide margin that the number has become abstract. You do not feel the $400,000 the way you felt the first $1,000 at 31. The first $1,000 was electric. The $400,000 is, mostly, information. This is the sixth thing nobody tells you about passive income. The sixth thing is that, past a certain level, passive income becomes emotionally weightless. The income at this level is not connected to any need, any desire, or any constraint in your life. The income simply accumulates. The accumulation is recorded. The records are reviewed. The emotional significance that money carried at lower levels has, at this level, evaporated. The money has become a measurement of something rather than a means to anything. The something it measures is, mostly, the success of the machine you built across 40 years. The machine produces $5 million a year. The machine will continue producing it regardless of your involvement. The machine is, in a sense, your life's financial work made permanent. The permanence is the achievement. The permanence is also, in its own way, strange to experience. The verb at level 6 is institutionalize. Your passive income is now produced by an institution. The institution operates beyond your daily involvement. Level 7. You are 69. Your passive income is $1 million a month. The $1 million a month is $12 million a year. The $12 million a year arrives from a portfolio worth somewhere around $250 million. You are, at this level, among the small group of people whose passive income alone places them in the top tier of American wealth. The passive income, by itself, without any active work, generates more than the lifetime earnings of most successful professionals every single year. You think, sometimes, about the Tuesday morning when you were 31 and you looked at your dashboard and saw your first $1,000 of passive income. You think about how that $1,000 felt. You think about how electric it was to see money arrive without work for the first time. You think about how far the journey has been from that $1,000 to this $1 million a month. The journey, you have realized, was never really about the money. The money was the measurement. The journey was about the slow construction of a machine that produces income across decades. The construction required discipline, patience, reinvestment, and the willingness to delay gratification across a span of 40 years. Most people are not willing to do this. Most people spend what they earn. The unwillingness to delay is what keeps most people from ever building passive income at any meaningful level. You were willing. The willingness, sustained across 4 decades, is what produced the $1 million a month. This is the 7th thing nobody tells you about passive income. The 7th thing is that the journey to significant passive income is fundamentally a journey of character rather than a journey of finance. The financial techniques are simple and widely available. Anyone can learn to invest in dividend stocks, buy rental properties, or build business equity. The techniques are not the constraint. The constraint is the character required to apply the techniques consistently across decades. The patience, the discipline, the delayed gratification, the faith during the early years when the income is tiny. These are character traits, not financial skills. The character is the actual differentiator. The $1 million a month is the consequence of the character. The character was the cause. The money was the effect. The verb at level 7 is sustain. You sustain the character for 40 years. The sustaining is the achievement that the money merely measures. The payoff. So let's pull this together. At level 1, begin. The first dollar of passive income is the hardest to produce. At level 2, cover. The threshold where passive income covers your survival is the foundation of freedom. At level 3, free. Genuine financial freedom turns passive income from goal to foundation. At level 4, manage. High passive income requires management and is rarely entirely passive. At level 5, compound. Income beyond your needs forces the question of purpose. At level 6, institutionalize. The income becomes emotionally weightless, produced by an institution. At level 7, sustain. The journey is about character, sustained across decades. Here is the thing nobody on YouTube will tell you about passive income. Passive income is not passive. The phrase is misleading. Every level of passive income required active work to build, and most levels require ongoing work to maintain. The dividend portfolio required years of saving and investing. The rental properties required acquisition and management. The business stakes required evaluation and oversight. The word passive describes the moment the income arrives, not the work required to produce the capacity for it to arrive. The other thing nobody tells you is that the entire journey is sequential and slow. There is no shortcut from the first $1,000 to the $1 million a month. The journey requires decades. The decades require character. The character is the actual scarce resource. The financial knowledge is freely available. The patience to apply it across 40 years is rare. If you are watching this video and you have not yet produced your first dollar of passive income, the message is that the first dollar is the most important one. The first dollar proves the entire system works. The first dollar requires you to accumulate capital, which requires you to spend less than you earn, which requires character. Start there. The first dollar is the gateway to everything that follows. If you are watching this video and you have already begun, the message is that the early levels feel slow because they are slow. The compounding that produces the dramatic later levels does not become visible until decades into the journey. The slow early years are not a sign that the system is failing. The slow early years are the system working exactly as it is supposed to work. Somewhere right now, a 31-year-old is sitting at a kitchen table looking at a dashboard. The dashboard shows that, last month, his investments paid him $1,040. He did nothing to earn it. He is staring at the number. He does not know, looking at that number, that this is the first level of a ladder that, if he sustains the character to climb it, will end at $1 million a month. The ladder has 7 levels. The first dollar is the hardest. The character is the rest. If this video changed how you think about building income that works without you, hit subscribe. We have more videos like this on the channel, each one breaking down a different path that money takes across a lifetime of decisions. See you in the next one.